Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. And this week on Leadership by the Letter, we've moved to the letter R, and the word is right, simply meaning morally good, justified, or acceptable. Yes, that's right. It's not only a direction and not a political leaning. Sometimes it's the decisions that we make. It's challenging for leaders to do the right thing, especially when it's not profitable and certainly when it's not comfortable. But that's what leaders do. They do the right thing. I remember hearing the story of Winston Churchill having to make a decision because they had broken the code of the German communication, and they found out that a city called Coventry was going to be bombed that night, and he had to make the decision. Did he warn the city? And if he did, that would set off to the Germans if their code had been broken, or did he stay quiet? Rumor has it that he stayed quiet. Now, there is speculation as to whether that actually happened or not. But let me ask you this. If you had to make that decision, if you had to let some people die for the greater good, what would you do? That's the kind of difficult decision that leaders have to make. Michael Del Cavo was faced with a challenge much like that. He was in the NCAA National Championship for track and field and cross country in 1993. And he knew the route that he was supposed to take. And it got to a point that everybody from the main pack went the wrong direction. He followed the right direction. He actually stopped and shouted to them to turn back and follow him, but they waved him off. And he finished the course first. He won the race because everybody else did the wrong thing and he did the right thing. Ironically, in a controversial move, the race officials determined that the abbreviated course would become the right course, and they pulled the championship away from Michael Del Cavo. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? We often make a different set of rules for our favorites, for those people that we think are essential to our success. You know what's funny about that? Everybody that works with you, everybody in your home and your community, they know who your favorites are, and they're watching to see if they have to abide by the same rules that everyone else has to abide by. Will you do the right thing? In 1982, CEO James E. Burke, who was the CEO of Johnson & Johnson, was faced with a very difficult decision. 7 people died from Tylenol tampering, Tylenol capsules that had cyanide or strychnine put into them, and 7 people died. And ultimately, he had to make the call. Did he pull all the Tylenol that was sold throughout the world in 1982? And he did. Anything made in 1982, he actually recalled all of that. He issued coupons to reimburse those who had purchased Tylenol capsules. He stopped advertising, and he pushed for tamper-proof packaging through Congress, much of the packaging that we deal with today that causes a little bit more pressure to turn the top. He was the one who pushed for that. And Tylenol, Johnson & Johnson, lost $100 million and faced a 7% dip in their stock price because he did the right thing. But when you do the right thing, there's the ultimate reward that you have peace in your heart. And in this case, Johnson & Johnson quickly rebounded and regained 30% of the entire market. Why? Because people knew they had made the difficult choice, done the right thing. And if anyone was trustworthy at this point, it was Tylenol and Johnson & Johnson. In the famous movie Blindside, about the life of Michael Orr, Sean Tuohy, who's played by Tim McGraw, and Leanne Tuohy, who's played by Sandra Bullock, who went on to win the Academy Award, tell the story of how they met Michael Orr on the road and changed not only his life, but theirs. He was in a very bad community, and they were passing by one morning and saw him. I think it's depicted at nighttime in the movie, but it was one morning. And they saw him, and Sean Tuohy was giving a speech, and he said their entire lives changed because of 2 words that Leanne Tuohy said. She simply looked at him and said, "Turn around." Sometimes that's all it takes to do the right thing. I don't know where you are right now, what difficult decisions you are facing, but I challenge you as a leader to set the right example by doing the right thing. That's how you impact lives. That's how you help people to fulfill their purpose. And that is ultimately the road to success. Peace of heart, peace of mind, and success. I challenge you. Go out there, do the right thing, and lead.